Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of Vibe. We talk about Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, better known as Bennifer, has tied the knot. After 20 years of their relationship starting, and now 20 years later, they are finally man and wife. We'll get to that in the first minute. First thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag VibeHereOnConnect. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on Vibe. We talk about Bennifer. Singer Jennifer Lopez and actor Ben Affleck are reportedly married and they have tied the knot. Yes, this 20-year long relationship that started 20 years ago in 2002 when they both met on the set of Geely. Now, 2 years later, 2004, they broke up their engagement. And now, 18 years later, they are finally husband and wife. Well, it's been a long road for Jennifer Lopez. After she broke up with Ben Affleck, she went on to date Mark Anthony, Casper Smart, Alex Rodriguez, name on. And so has Ben Affleck. He moved on and started his own family with Jennifer Garner. Well, now the two are reunited and the two have rekindled their romance. Let's see how all this transpired between Bennifer finally tying the knot.
I'll marry you. The big romantic moment sealing the deal with that one true love has been at the center of so many movies for Jennifer Lopez. But now the superstar entertainer says it's finally truly happening for her.
Somebody's getting married.
Just saving it, and now I'm married.
Lopez sharing the stunning news with her fans on Sunday that she and actor-director Ben Affleck tied the knot, offering details via her online newsletter on the JLo, writing, "We did it. Love is beautiful. Love is kind. And it turns out our love is patient. 20 years patient. It was a classic Vegas wedding in a tiny chapel." Lopez revealing, "We barely made it to the little white wedding chapel by midnight. They graciously stayed open late a few minutes." Lopez telling how they waited in line with 4 other couples.
And this was my wedding-changing area.
The bride wearing a dress from an old movie and the groom wearing a jacket from his closet. Lopez gushing, "It was the best possible wedding we could have imagined, one we dreamed of long ago."
These guys realized that they just wanted to be married, and low-key was the way to go.
Giddy on social media, Lopez wasting no time sharing her long-awaited news with the world, posting this photo on Instagram after the big announcement with the hashtag for "If you know, you know."
Perfect.
The surprise nuptials coming just 3 months after the singer announced their engagement. The Hollywood duo became one of the hottest couples back in 2002 after Lopez, an actress and pop icon, and Affleck, now a 2-time Oscar winner, met on the set of the ill-fated box office blunder Geely.
I'm sorry, do we know each other?
Not yet.
But the highly publicized romance was doomed. The lavish wedding called off just days before it was to happen, and the relationship over months later in 2004. Later, Lopez telling People magazine about that time.
We didn't try to have a public relationship. We were kind of the hot couple at the time. And we may have played into that at the beginning because it was fun. And then it was not fun. Then it was like destroying us.
Their lives moved on. Affleck later marrying and making a family with actress Jennifer Garner, and Lopez settling down with the singer Mark Anthony and having 2 children. Both marriages ended, and more romances followed, including Lopez's high-wattage 2-year engagement to baseball icon Alex Rodriguez. But the star says Affleck always held the key to her heart. Last year, the two rekindled and made it Instagram official as they celebrated Lopez's 52nd birthday in the south of France.
They find themselves single years later, much more mature, much more capable of dealing with fame. He's now several years sober and has worked really hard on that. And they're at completely different life stages.
This is Affleck's second marriage. He told
Bennifer had tied the knot. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are finally husband and wife. What an important story to tell that many people didn't see this coming. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are husband and wife. Well-known love story that been. You had to know they had love for each other while they was with other people. And you can tell that, that long-standing relationship. Well, let's hear what you people had to say about Bennifer finally tying the knot on what the people say.
Paparazzi played a role in the trouble of their relationship. It seems like this time they're owning their own message. What is different this time?
Well, what's different after 20 years is social media. If you looked at the way their romance bloomed the second time around, as you said in the report, there were Instagram postings and things like that. They've learned from people like the Kardashians that you can control this narrative. You can go to Vegas with your makeup artist, your hair, someone taking some pictures, you then post this on your own newsletter, and you have your own personal People magazine. They've learned that, and they've taken control of this narrative. They are indeed, as you said in the report, they're 20 years older, they're wiser, they don't need attention, they don't want this attention. But the tools of social media have allowed them to control this in ways where they don't need paparazzis or magazines or websites. They do it on their own.
What does it mean for their careers?
You mean, are we going to see Julie too?
Tell me.
I don't think so. It's not even a question that they might do something together. I don't think it means a whole lot of their careers. You know, careers were always separate from the entity of Bennifer for a long time. So I don't think it's going to have real meaning for that. I think they're going to get attention. I think they're still going to get the paparazzi attention they say they don't want. But in terms of their careers, they're kind of independent operators. I don't see it having a whole lot of bearing on it, unless they want to do things together, which is entirely possible, and there's going to be a clamoring for that.
And Larry, why the Vegas route?
Because there's not a lot of paparazzi wandering around the 110-degree streets of Vegas on a Saturday afternoon. That's one reason. They could have their kids there. It's also very American in middle class. You say Vegas wedding, everybody has an impression of that. If they haven't been there, they know what it's like. It's very romantic. Remember something, these two, although they're kind of divas and Hollywood movie stars, they're middle-class kids. He's from Cambridge, Massachusetts, she's from the Bronx. There's something about Vegas that's a continuum, and it's more like what they're really like, as opposed to the wedding they wanted to have 20 years ago in Mount Montecito, which, you know, never happened.
All right. Well, George has several follow-ups. We're going to have to leave it there.
Lopez and Ben Affleck recently tied the knot. I remember when I was in middle school, I had a middle school teacher. I'm not going to give his name. But I remember, like, he was obsessed with two women. Like, he was literally obsessed with them. The first one was Halle Berry, and the second one was Jennifer Lopez. He always talked about these two women. I remember. That's how I knew who Halle Berry was or Jennifer Lopez is from him. Like, every single time, he was my PE coach. Every single time I would go to PE, you know, for those who don't know what PE is, that's physical exercise, you know, just physical education, you know, where you do physical activities, play basketball, and just have fun. And so those are the only two women like he would talk about all the time. I was like in 7th grade, 6th grade, he would talk about it. And so now having the understanding that I understand where he was coming from, which is that, you know, he was just looking at them for their physical appearance. He was looking at their youth and how good looking they were. And, you know, those are the type of women that he desired to be with. But that was just on the surface. At a deeper level, when you look at the modern women, and I'm not just talking about J-Lo or Halle Berry, I'm just talking about all across the spectrum. You know, women today switch men like individuals switch cups to drink water. The modern day marriage is like switching a hand in a glove. It's really like disposable. And people just switch and go from marriages to marriages, from relationships to relationships. And so the idea of marriage has actually lost its credibility. The idea of marriage has actually lost its just the spiritual, the sanctity, the sacredness of it. It's not there anymore. And so, I mean, she's probably on her this is her like her 4th husband, you see, and you know, who knows how many wives he has had. And so And so you have this constant switching of spouses, a constant, switching off of relationships. And so the sacredness of marriage, or the sacredness of just intimacy between a woman and a man, nowadays is just watered down. And so the modern day system of laissez-faire or lawlessness, or do what thou wilt, just these principles are the principles that are governing society today. And so when you see in the scripture where it says that, she is to submit to her own husband. And so in today's society, you can be with a woman and then she has a side piece, just in case, like, if things don't work out with you, she already has like another side piece that things can potentially work with. And so this is just the modern society mindset that you have today. And so there was a clip that I had seen on E! News where she talked about how Ben Affleck worships her. He gets down on one knee. And so the modern day female, what they're looking for is for a man to worship them, is for a man to literally pay homage to them. And so either they buy that worship, they buy that homage through their popularity, through their stardom, or that man literally worships them regardless. And so where men are no longer men today, but you have this effeminate mindset today, you have this emasculating of men today, where instead of them fulfilling the principle found in the Genesis, fulfilling the principle found in the Word, where the Word says that her husband is the leader, her husband is to guide. The modern day society don't follow those principles, and so the woman is the diva, they call it. The one the man is to worship, whom the man is to admire, whom the man is to adore. And so that's why you see here where she receives worship from Ben Affleck. She receives homage from Ben Affleck.
My love came in, Ben came in, and he got down on one knee, and he said some things that I'll never forget. And he pulled out a ring, and he said, "Will you marry me?"
And so he's not the ruler. He's not the one ruling, leading, and guiding. And so, but anyway, let me know your thoughts on these things. What are your thoughts on these modern day?
Mom and Dad just got married.
Somebody's getting married.
They got married in Las Vegas at the White House Chapel, very famous online wedding chapel. And she said the waited was beautiful, love is kind, and it turns out love is patient. 20 years patient. She wore a dress that she's had for years. It's still a very nice designer dress. But they stood in line with 4 other couples in Mom.
I can't do this. 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 I can't. I can't. I can't.
Some of these comments on my last video of JLo and Ben Affleck are brutal. Yes, I know everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but society loves to put a woman down who has been in multiple relationships and or marriages. Exhibit A, Jennifer Lopez. Exhibit B, Taylor Swift. Like these comments on my last post? Gosh, it's brutal out here. Again, everyone is entitled to their own opinions. I personally think it's really admirable to put yourself out there when you've been hurt from J-Lo and Ben Affleck's wedding. Oh my goodness, she looks so beautiful. I promise I'm not going to sing in this one. Here's what she said about the wedding. Behind us, two men held hands and held each other. In front of us, a young couple who made the 3-hour drive from Victorville on their daughter's 2nd birthday. All of us wanting the same thing, for the world to recognize us as partners and to declare our love to the world through the ancient and nearly universal symbol of marriage. So romantic. Let's just talk about those other couples that were standing in line with Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck to get married. I am so jealous. I got married last year in a 1-hour wedding ceremony, and I'm pretty annoyed that I didn't just wait till July 16th. Oh my goodness, so jealous of them. Of course, I totally love my husband, and meeting Jennifer Lopez is not more important than getting married.
I'm so happy for my girl J-Lo. Well, here you have it. Ben Affleck and her got married in October. Super duper awesome. The ladies do kind of not. You know, surrounded by regular people. Other couples, you know, like 20 years ago, because it is I'm a fan. Wow. So here's the number on J-Lo. You probably got to know the whole backstory, which is super awesome. J-Lo's personal pictures. Her wedding dress was so simple. Gorgeous. As beautiful as one and great exactly what you wanted to be. That's exactly what life is about, guys. Perfect damn. Save the day. They did it. Woo! I'm so excited. I just want to come on here and say congratulations. Woo! Yes, queen. Get it, girl. Yes. I don't know. I have nothing else to say, but congratulations.
The news of J-Lo and Ben Affleck getting married after being engaged for the 2nd time. And all the news reports say that it was a super low-key ceremony in Las Vegas, very spontaneous, or at least that was the vibe those news reports were trying to convey. And I bet you anything that it was J-Lo's and Ben's PR reps who gave that angle of it being a very intimate, very, you know, like spur of the moment ceremony. But that's just a PR move to get people to really believe that their romance is real, and it is. I'm not saying it's not, but for a long time, people have been saying that this is a PR relationship, that they are not in love with each other. But, you know, by making it something so small and cozy and not something big and flashy, that's their way of saying we are serious about each other. We're not just doing it for fame and publicity. Like, that's why we're not going to put on a huge wedding. And yeah, I mean, these are millionaires. They are not just going to get married out of the blue. Like, I bet they've been with their lawyers. They've talked about how to divide up their assets and fortunes. So yeah, don't let the headline fool ya. Okay, so I think everyone has heard of.
A lot of you people are happy for Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck to finally commit to each other and finally be husband and wife. What a long-term commitment. This had to be happening in a couple a year ago, them reuniting, and now they are finally husband and wife. Jennifer Lopez in her swan song, as well as Ben Affleck. We hope and we pray that we know Jennifer Lopez is a hopeless romantic, and we hope that Ben Affleck keeps her company and keeps her happy. And that's all about happiness, joy when you get married. Thank you all for watching this edition of Viral. We talked about Bennifer finally getting married. I've been your host, Kenny Dick, saying so long. We'll see you next time for another edition of Viral.